Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you wherever you may be, and welcome to a special Black Friday edition of Rippin Packs and Flashin' Back. I am still Chris. I hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving. Spent some time with your friends and family, just being together, being in the moment. Um, we wanted to do a couple things today with Thanksgiving in mind. Wanted to talk about a couple of cards that I was grateful to get this year and the reason for that. The goat hunt is wrapped up. We'll be wrapping up this weekend. And then starting on Monday, we are starting a new daily series, a little Rippin Packs advent calendar, if you will. So we'll be looking at some different stuff coming up for the month of December. But since it is the start of the gift giving season, I gave my wife a little challenge to walk into our local card store and pick out something for me to open today, and she has. So we'll be doing some old school flashing back as only Rippin Packs can. Before we do that, let me just show a couple cards I picked up this year at the LA Card Show that I was especially grateful to add to my collection. If you remember way back to the start of the Rippin Packs series, the channel, I had talked about kind of like my history getting into baseball and how much my grandfather played a role in that. And so when we were at the card show, I came across right there. Let's see. I think we should be able to see that there nice and clear. So a 1967 Topps Don Drysdale PSA 6. Grading I wasn't really too worried about, but the thought of adding a Don Drysdale card to my collection really kind of was an emotional thing for me, actually. Um, when my grandpa would talk about the Dodgers and talk about like the players that he loved watching when he was younger, Don Drysdale was always at the top of that list. And so I heard lots of Don Drysdale stories growing up, and especially when he became a announcer for the Dodgers. And so Don Drysdale holds a kind of a special place for me in my baseball fandom because he will always remind me of my grandfather. And so adding this to my collection, was a really kind of a special moment for me. I was really happy to be able to do it. And so that's the first one that I wanted to talk about today. And the second one I wanted to talk about was this CSG 2008, CSG 7 2008 Topps Finest Rookie Redemption for Clayton Kershaw. So a couple reasons this was important to me this year. Obviously, this was Clayton Kershaw's final year with the Dodgers. Couldn't have imagined a better way for him to go out with the World Series win and with that big moment in Game 3. And so, as you can tell from the Goat Hunt, I'm a huge Kershaw fan, and being able to add Kershaw cards to my collection when his prime basically was in a period of time where I wasn't collecting cards was an important thing for me. The other reason this is important to me is because when I was looking at this at a dealer, I was kind of there by myself, and I was kind of like thinking about how much I was willing to spend on some of these things, and I was struggling to like pick between a couple different cards. I knew I wanted to buy one, but I wasn't sure which one, and my wife kind of swooped in behind me from out of nowhere and like just kind of took over negotiating with the dealer, and ended up buying them both for me. So I just it was really cool. She's had shown lots of support for this little endeavor of mine. She's tolerated me turning her office into a studio at least once a week, and dealt with baseball cards stacking up all over the house, and just been really good about like being okay with me spending money on baseball cards and reliving my my childhood in a way, I guess. So uh, those are my two cards that I was super thankful for, and I wanted to take the time to talk about them both today. So let me hang them up there real quick. And it wouldn't be an episode of Rippin' Packs if we didn't spend some time ripping packs. what I had her go grab for me is something really fun. And I didn't pick anything out. I didn't give her any guidance other than don't buy me football cards because I don't know anything about it. So yeah, let's start ripping. And so what she picked out for us is multiple packs from the so-called junk wax era. So she grabbed some 1988 tops and some 1990 Fleer. Let's start with this. Actually, let's start with the 1990 Fleer. It feels like the last card might have some wax damage on it, but that's okay. Players of the Decade, 10th anniversary Dale Murphy. That is awesome. That's gonna get one of these places of honor right away. Chris Spire. Some familiar names in here, right? Rob Stan, Greg Maddox. Yes, we did our goat hunt. That's wrapping up this weekend, but Greg Maddox is definitely in a goat conversation. Ted Higuera, Dante Bichette. Look at that, Dante Bichette, looking so young. Al Newman, Dean Wilkins, Frank Tanana. Gosh, some really familiar names in here. Bruce Hurst. I haven't heard some of these names in years. What is that one? Dave Hansen and Kelly Mann for I have no idea, but Dave Hansen was a tremendous pinch hitter for the Dodgers. Jose Gonzalez, another Dodger there. Gino Petralli, Dave Martinez, and Mark Gubasa. I don't know, man. Junk wax is such a horrible term, but I get it. But there's so many memories in here, and so much fun stuff. Let's see what this 88 tops. I think this 88 tops pack actually has gum in it too, so that'll be interesting to see. Oh yeah, who wants some 40, almost 40-year-old gum? Padres Chris Brown, Brewers Bill Wegman, Dave Stewart, another former Dodger, Brian Dayett, Jesse Orozco, another former Dodger, Mark Becklemore. I remember these cards so well. I have so many of them at my mom's house. Steve Henderson. I don't know what this is. A little ad in the middle of it. Ozzie Smith. Everybody loves the Wizard. Jeff Calhoun. Mark Ryle. All-Star Dave Winfield. Man, these All-Star cards, I remember them so well. Dave Winfield. Glenn Hubbard. Guterman. Les Lancaster. And Jeffrey Leonard. Bill Spires. Jeff Manto, Roy Smith, Jeff Pico, Chet Lemon, Blast from the Past, Gary Templeton, another split one. What is this one? I don't even remember Mike Huff. Who the heck is Mike Huff? John Wetland. I always thought John Wetland was going to be so much more than he ended up being. Jamie Moyer, Hubie Brooks, Bob Boone, Pat Clements, Steve Sachs, former Dodger at that point in a Yankee uniform. Oh my gosh. That one will not even stand. Steve Sachs as a Yankee does not want to. There we go. Okay. Brian Meyer and Bert Blyleven in the Angels gear. So much fun. All right. Andre Dawson. Love Andre Dawson. The Hawk. Eddie Murray, another one of my favorites growing up. Steve Bedrosian on the All-Star card. Terry Pendleton. Oberfell. Parrott. Bruce Benedict, Jamie Moyer again, Luis Polonia, Larry Anderson, Alvin Davis, Bob Dernier, Marvell Wynn, Jeff Robinson, and Juan Beniquez. All right. Bob Kipper, Omar Vizquel, Milt Thompson, Dwight Evans, Steve Lyons, Barossa, one caught there, McGaffigan, Briley, Will Clark, Jeff Robinson, Tim Belcher, one of the stars of the 88 Dodgers, Bob Melvin, Rafael Ramirez, Jose Canseco, look at those arms, good look, and Carlton Fisk, that's really cool. My goodness, look at all those years. Goodness, what a career, Carlton Fisk. All right, folks. That's going to do it for this week, this special Black Friday episode of Rippin Packs and Flashing Back. I hope you enjoyed a little trip down memory lane along with me. We'll be right back with you next week for another episode where we will be opening... What will we be opening? Oh, you know what? We ordered a box of the Topps Update. Again, hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're finding great deals on Black Friday. But for now, as always, collect what you love what you collect, and don't stop ripping. We'll see you next time.